This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Hey guys, how's it going? Vincent here from thecreativedojo.net. Welcome to another video. Today in this video, I want to talk about the new MovieType for Element 3D product that was just released today by the folks over at MotionWorks. And this is actually a collection or library of presets created by John himself from MotionWorks, as well as Brett. And essentially, it's a library collection of presets for Element 3D for After Effects that allow you to essentially quickly create really dynamic, interesting type animations, bevels, materials, and backgrounds. So you can create some interesting type animations really quickly, easily within Element 3D. And there's a ton of stuff. And today I want to go over and kind of give it a full review over it. I was lucky enough to get an early sneak peek at this product for a while now, and I've been playing with it for a little while. So I want to give you a full review on it. Now, this video itself is going to be basically an overview and my general opinions on it. But if you want a full in-depth review over the product, whether you should buy it or not, check out the full article linked down below in the video description. Now, I'm going to give you a general tour of the product, but I'm going to leave all that to John because John already has pretty much a demo tutorial for pretty much everything about this product. So you can watch his video to get a really good understanding of what this product does. I'm just here to give you my opinions and what I think, the pros and cons and stuff like that. So this is essentially MovieType here, and essentially we have a bunch of presets. So for example, we have the MovieType camera presets, we have full compositions, and we have MovieType type presets. And I think the main focus of this product for them is the type presets here. So this is pretty much like a little brother of the MovieType for Cinema 4D that they released, a few years back, I believe, where it's a bunch of rigs for type animations within Cinema 4D. So now they brought it over here to After Effects for Element 3D here. So essentially we have a bunch of stuff like the cascades, crash, grab, bag, in and out, slide, wipe, zoom. And to view these animation presets here, you can pretty much open the compositions and check them out, or you can go to the gallery. Once you purchase the product, you'll get a whole bunch of folders here, and this is essentially what the product looks like when you download it. You have tutorials, scripts, galleries, all the presets here. So if you want to check out what these presets do, because again, there are tons of them, go to the galleries, go to the type presets, and go ahead and just preview some of these presets here. So for an example, I can hit play. You can see that this is the Cascade 1, Cascade 2, Cascade 3, and 4 animations. And essentially, you can view pretty much the whole library, by viewing the galleries here. So you can see there's some pretty interesting dynamic type animations that you can use. Just pretty much click and drag, drop into your After Effects compositions, and you can use them right off the bat. So this is very similar. So all the type presets are like this. You can just view it. They're all, a bunch of fun little presets that you can just look at. So we have some zooms that kind of just zooms in, some nice, smooth animations, some curls, some twists. There's a lot of basic stuff, but there's a lot of dynamic stuff as well, complex stuff. And basically my thoughts on these presets is that, they work as expected. You simply go into whatever, preset that you want. Let's say we want Cascade 1, hop into this composition here. And as you can see, we have text layer, which we can change to whatever we want. And we have the Element 3D layer, and essentially it's just a fully rigged Element 3D layer, and the animation is pretty much already set up for you. So it's, it's very, very straightforward, and it's not really too complex here, but it does save you a lot of time if you don't really want to spend so much time creating the animation, because it takes a little while to twirl down all these things and set all these keyframes and link them together and, animate them and, go through here and set up the animation engine. Essentially, these are what the type presets do. They're fully rigged, they're fully tweaked, and they're using animation engine to pretty much transition from one state to another. It's already pre-rigged for you, so all you got to do is come in here and tweak it. If you hit U on the keyboard, we get just pretty much 2 keyframes for the most part. There are some other keyframes, but for the most part, it's just 2 keyframes here. And essentially, it's just the animation time. So if you want this to be longer, just simply drag this out and, you're pretty much set. Slower animation. Simple as that. They're really handy, they're really great, and they're very, very straightforward. So there's no issues with them. They're essentially just pre-configured Element 3D presets that you can use, drop in, or copy and paste. And there are approximately about 200 type presets. So this is quite a bit. In my opinion, if you can think of some kind of text transition animation for Element 3D that you can do with Element 3D, then you're probably going to find it in this library somewhere. So essentially, if you can think about it and think of it, it's probably in this library somewhere. And it's very, very handy. And that's pretty much my basic opinions on it. Strangely enough, Although I was really intrigued by the type presets, I was actually more interested about this product because of the other things, such as the materials and bubbles. And I know John and Brent are not going to be too happy about that because I'm pretty sure they worked a lot on these type presets here. But honestly, when it comes to materials and bubbles and stuff like that for Element 3D, I'm a sucker for those. I love just using, predefined materials, because creating your own materials in Cinema 4D and baking it and bringing it into Element 3D is kind of a pain in the ass. So by having presets, it makes your life a lot easier. I think most of the time I use only material presets when using Element 3D. I rarely ever, create my own. I usually just tweak them here. So basically, let me show you the materials here. So I have the Pro shaders, which is essentially the only expansion pack that I'm kind of familiar with. But as you can see, we have a few Pro shaders here. But look how many type of materials we have in MovieType. 456. Some of them are variants of each other, but they're still great nonetheless. So as you can see, we have tons and tons of presets. You have metals, you have plastics, stones, grungy textures, plastic, fun materials, glowing glass materials. You essentially have every material that you can think of that you'll need probably for type animations here. And again, you can just slap one on, and you can go in here and tweak some of this stuff here and just change it to whatever you like. There's some more complex ones, these kind of rocky ones here, and they have some textures applied. They're very high res. So, whenever I get a chance to expand my materials library, especially for Element 3D, because it's kind of a pain to do. Cinema 4D, it's great to have some materials already pre-made, but especially for Element 3D, it's really, really nice to get an extra 456 materials that you can just slap on and get instant results. This is by far, probably the biggest thing I like about MovieType for Element 3D. Another really interesting part about this product is the bevels here. And as you can see, we have some default bevels. I know you get some from some expansion packs or whatever. But MovieType bevels, we have 158. And there's a ton of things that you can do. And I think they're more diverse than the built-in bevels for sure. I think they're more professionally crafted. And we get some really nice bevels here. As you can see, they're all, they all use the MovieType materials already applied to them. So you get some really, really nice bevels really quickly. And as you can see, we have quite a bit. All the different bevels that you can think of are probably in here somewhere. We have some nice stony ones. We have some, some plastic, some fun ones, some colorful ones, some, darker ones. So there are quite a bit of presets. And in my opinion, they look really great. They're very optimized. They look great on text. And they're just really nice bubbles that you would actually use in a project, not really just, for looks or whatever. And I think that one of the great strengths about this pack is that there's really no junk. In a lot of expansion packs, a lot of preset packages, you're going to see a lot of junk, a lot of things where you're not really going to use it. It's just kind of there to add more variation, maybe for greater numbers of content. But in my opinion, I think MovieType does a really great job at providing really, really quality, bevels and materials, as well as type presets that are not just, junk because we have it, we're going to include it. These are actually, professionally crafted. And I think that they do a pretty good job at giving you quality stuff that you would actually use and not just things that you just kind of just nice to have. You know what I mean? So the fact that this product only costs $89 US is pretty much a steal. I would probably pay $89 just for the materials themselves, as well as the bubbles. So for just $89, you get the materials and the bubbles. That's already a great deal as it is, because you're getting a lot of stuff. It's already cheaper than the Pro Shaders pack by itself. So you get the bubbles, you get the materials, you get more, and it's a really nice product. And on top of that, you get the, the type presets and stuff like that. So again, I really like the materials and the bevels probably the most. No complaints. They work fast, high resolution textures, no problems with the bevels, no problem with the materials as well. So before we move on, I just want to go ahead and thank our sponsors over at Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace is the all-in platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional online website, store, or portfolio. They have over 20 highly customizable and professionally designed templates. With their click and drag interface, adding content is a breeze, and starting at just $8 a month, you can get a free domain name if you sign up for a year. You can start your free trial of Squarespace by going to squarespace.com. Now, when you do decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure you use promo code DOJO to get 10% off the life of your order and support the dojo. Squarespace, everything you need to create an exceptional website. One last thing before I quit out of the browser is I want to show you the MovieType backgrounds. They do come with a few backgrounds that you can use in your projects. I think some of them are pretty cool. They're very cool for abstract kind of things, just to have some nice something other than a black gradient background or something like that. So we have this nice little, stony material here. We have some abstract kind of smooth material. And of course, you can always swap out the materials and get a more interesting look here. We have some, kind of abstract looking glass, I guess, whatever this is right here. It looks pretty cool, very interesting, maybe for some kind of sci-fi titles or something like that. And they're actually 3D geometry here. So you can see we got some depth going on here. But the backgrounds that really caught my interest were actually these three down here, these studio backdrops here. So these are pretty handy because in Cinema 4D, we would always use these for, product placement, some basic clean, simple type animation, stuff like that. So it's really nice just to have a quick backdrop where you can just, drop something in and create some nice ambient occlusion and just have some nice clean background. My only complaint about these backgrounds is that I wish they were just a little bit more high res. They're relatively kind of small just because they want them to load faster and stuff like that. But I'd really prefer them to be just a little bit more high res, a little bit bigger, so that we don't have to zoom in so much or scale things up. So these are my only complaints. They're very, very cool, but they're kind of small. So just a heads up. Now, MovieType also includes, besides type presets, they also come with camera presets. So on top of type animation, they also give you presets for different dynamic camera animations here. And you can view those in the galleries. They're pretty straightforward itself. So for an example, this camera movement preset is kind of like a nice orbit zoom in. So we kind of zoom in and just orbit around the text. And this is just kind of a basic camera move. And there's a whole bunch of camera presets that come with MovieType here. But one really cool thing is that you can control the camera itself using a controller or camera rig. So we have a few settings here. We have basic stuff like, the zoom. We can control the zoom. We can zoom in closer or further away. We can control the depth of field. So we can, change the aperture, blur, and focus offset, which is pretty much kind of like the focus distance. We have the timing control, which is something that you'll probably use most often. So if we hit U on the keyboard, we can actually, increase the time of the camera movement, and then everything will update accordingly. So you can control the timing, control over the path. So, the start position, end position, basic stuff like that. We can control the transform or the movement or the shifting of the camera. We have rotation control. And lastly, we have some basic camera shake control. So overall, the camera rig is not really something super complex, but it does make it really easy to control basic things right from a central location instead of toggling through a whole bunch of drop downs and stuff like that. My only comment is that it's a little bit kind of tricky to use a little bit just because there's really no keyframes. You don't really know how these these camera moves are being achieved per se. We can set a start position, end position, pan and tilt. And essentially, MovieType just takes control of it from there. So it's kind of a little bit tricky to use, tricky to control and get a precise movement. And in my opinion, I'm probably not going to be using any of the camera presets anyways. I usually already have my, predefined custom camera rig already. And I'm always doing, different things to the camera and experimenting. So honestly, I don't think that camera presets would be very handy for me in my projects, but it may be for you. But in my opinion, I'm probably just going to animate the camera by myself using my own type of camera rig rather than relying on a, predefined preset camera rig. But, the type presets are very, very handy. But the camera presets, in my opinion, they're really not for me. You also have a basic lighting rig, which can control, the cone distance and, shadow information, shadow diffusion. You can control the transform, rotation, stuff like that. Basic camera rig, really nice to have in a central location as well. So overall, I think this is a really solid product. This is pretty much a steal product. For just $89, you get so much content. But the last thing I want to talk about actually is the workflow of MovieType. And this is not really MovieType's fault before I start. This is more just how After Effects works. And this is really how Element 3D works. There really is no way to hop into Element 3D here and, select some type presets and just click and drag and you see some type, animation going on. There's really no way to preview this stuff. So the best that we can do for now is to essentially have different compositions available or separate After Effects project files. So one thing I don't like about using MovieType for Element 3D is the fact that you kind of have to be always navigating. So for example, we have to go to Finder, we have to, go to the galleries and preview things out if you want to see what they are. And then you have to go back into the type presets folder and, import this composition here and browse through it in your project, toggle it. So, there's a lot of movement going on. We have to go through a lot of process just to kind of get what we want in our compositions. And again, this is not MovieType's fault. I'm not blaming MovieType for this. This is just kind of the way Element 3D works. And this is something really important that I think you guys should know before buying this product, is that you're gonna be working in a very modular workflow, okay? There's no like fancy little browser or anything like that. You're gonna have to be doing it pretty much the manual way, where you find something that you like. Let's say we want to go to the cascading type animation. So we'll go to type presets. We have to go into the project here, and then we essentially have to import our After Effects project file into here, let it load. And then we have to go into the type presets, MovieType presets, go to the cascade, find our cascade animation that we like, and either use this composition or copy this whole thing and just paste it into our scene. But again, see, that's kind of a long process. So there is kind of a workaround that may be a little bit more elegant. So if you don't want to keep on moving in and out of After Effects, I would recommend just importing everything into After Effects. So I'm going to just delete all these and restart. So essentially what I would recommend is just to import pretty much everything into After Effects right away. So for an example, definitely import the galleries, import the type presets, camera presets, and maybe even full compositions here, because the materials and bubbles and backgrounds are actually in the Element 3D browser, which is very, very good. So we'll just hit open or import essentially, and we want to import all those things into After Effects so that we never really have to leave After Effects for anything per se. And that's just how I work. If you have no problem, leaving After Effects and just going digging through Finder or Explorer, then maybe this doesn't bother you at all. But for me personally, I like to stay within After Effects, and the workflow using this product is it can get a little bit irritating unless you know exactly what you want. So now that we have everything imported, let's say you want to find something that you like, hop into the gallery, hop into the type, and we'll just double click and we can browse, the cascades this way. We can just browse through and view everything here. Nothing here. We'll go into the, the grab bag. We'll just, scrub through and see what we like here. And if you like something, we'll just go out and go into the type presets, go to it, find it, and, just pick the one you want and just start using it. So in my opinion, this is probably a better way of doing it. So just import everything, import the galleries, view everything in After Effects, and then just click and drag. But again, this is not MovieType's fault. This is just how Element 3D and After Effects works right now in its current state. So essentially, that's pretty much it for this review. I know it's a very basic review because everything is so straightforward, right? I mean, what can you say about bubbles and materials and backgrounds? I mean, it all works great. They're professionally crafted. I highly recommend it. For just $89, you get so many type presets, so many materials and bubbles and backgrounds, and just camera rig and a light rig. You get so much for $89. It's cheaper than Pro Shaders. Definitely go pick up MovieType for Element 3D. It's a great product. I highly recommend it, and I think that this is probably the best, in fact, the only expansion pack that I would recommend really for Element 3D. So if you use a lot of Element 3D stuff, I would highly recommend buying this product if you had to buy one product to expand Element 3D. This is the product that you want because you just get a whole bunch of everything. You don't get a little bit of everything, you get a lot of everything. And this is where it shines. The price is affordable and you just get so much for it. So that's pretty much it. There's not really much to review other than it's a professionally designed product, just because everything's so straightforward and they're just presets. So again, really great solid product, really great work from the folks over at MotionWorks. That's pretty much it, guys. I know I have a little bit more to say. If you want to view the full article, full review, again, read the article down below. It'll have my full thoughts and opinions over it. This is just a quick overview and my quick overview thoughts of the product. So that's pretty much it, guys. Once again, my name is Vincent Wynn from the Creative Dojo, and I'll see you guys next time.